Beloved, there is no secret with God, for all is revealed to the mind that listens within. The riches you seek are not out there in a far-off land. They are already present, awaiting your recognition. You are not striving to make wealth happen. You are awakening to what is already prepared for you. The world tells you that the lottery is chance, that fortune favors the lucky. But I tell you, fortune is a law. It is the law of divine supply, and it is unfailing. The same law that brings the stars into their appointed places, that sends the tide to the shore, sends your millions into your hands when you align with it. When you play in fear, you play in loss. When you play in faith, you play in certainty. The ticket in your hand is nothing more than a symbol of the wealth that is already yours in the invisible. Your true ticket is your consciousness, your knowing that God is the giver of every good gift and that nothing is withheld from the one who believes. Every day I declare, Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate and endless supply. Let all that is mine by divine right now reach me in perfect ways, and the way opens. Always, the way opens. Do not think for a moment that sudden wealth is beyond you. Many fear it, and so they block it. But I say, welcome it, bless it, call it home. For what you bless will increase, and what you expect with joy will come to meet you. If you would manifest your millions, you must first step into the vibration of a millionaire. Speak as one, think as one, act as one, give as one. Not in foolishness, but in faith. Faith is not hope. It is possession. It is knowing that before you call, you have been answered. You say, but Florence, I have played before and I have lost. I say, you have not lost, you have learned. Every so-called loss was but a seed of greater gain. The great prize you seek is not the paper note, but the unshakable knowing that your good is certain. And when that knowing is perfect, the manifestation appears, swiftly, surprisingly, and often in a way the world calls miraculous. You must speak the end from the beginning. Declare, I am a lottery millionaire now, by divine right in perfect ways. Hold that image in your heart until it becomes as real to you as the ground beneath your feet. Do not watch the clock. Do not count the days. God's timing is never late. What is yours cannot be taken from you, and what is not yours will fall away without struggle. Your millions are your divine inheritance, and spirit is never bankrupt. The so-called secret is this: you do not chase the millions, they chase you. You are not the seeker, you are the receiver. The river of wealth flows toward you, for you are the appointed channel through which God's abundance will express itself. And when it comes, and it will come, remember the law of circulation. Give freely and without fear, and the tide will ever return to you multiplied. You will find that the lottery win was but the door to greater riches, the riches of freedom, of joy, of blessing others in ways you had never dreamed possible. So, beloved, take this word into your heart. I now receive my millions by divine right, in perfect ways, and with perfect timing. The law of supply is unfailing, and I am the beloved child of the infinite, and so it is. Wealth is already yours in the invisible. It is not something you must earn, chase, or strive after. With anxious effort, it is already prepared for you, complete, perfect, and awaiting your recognition. The great mistake most people make is believing they must labor to make prosperity happen. But the truth is, in the kingdom of God, all is already done. You are not creating abundance, you are revealing it. It exists now, in the realm of the unseen, just as surely as the oak exists within the acorn before it bursts forth into the world. When you understand this, you stop trying to force the manifestation and instead begin to align with it. You become like the flower that does not strain to bloom, but simply turns toward the light, knowing that the process is inevitable. In the invisible, your millions already bear your name. They are not floating about, belonging to no one. They are marked for you as surely as a letter is addressed to your door. No one else can take what is yours by divine right, but to receive you must see, not with the outer eyes, which so often deceive, but with the eye of spirit. The outer eye may tell you there is lack, that your bank account is empty, that you are far from wealth. But the eye of spirit reveals the truth. You are surrounded by infinite substance. It is pressing upon you now, seeking an outlet, waiting for you to say, "Come forth." You must train your mind to dwell in this invisible reality, more than in the visible. The visible is the past. It is the result of yesterday's thinking. The invisible is the present power, the living creative substance that shapes tomorrow. If you will dwell in the truth of your invisible riches, the visible will soon take the form of that truth. But if you fix your gaze only upon appearances, you will keep recreating the same old lack. Begin now to affirm with conviction, "I see my millions in the invisible. They are mine now. They are prepared, complete, and delivered to me in perfect ways." Do not say this as one who hopes. Say it as one who knows. Feel the possession of it. Feel the security, the joy, the freedom. When you can feel it in the invisible, you will soon see it in the visible. The Spirit never withholds. The giver has already given. The only question is, will you accept it? Many ask and ask, but they never receive, because they ask as beggars instead of heirs. The beggar says, "If only I could have it." The heir says, "It is mine. It is my inheritance. It cannot be lost." You are the heir of the kingdom. You are the child of the infinite, and the infinite does not give sparingly. It gives lavishly, abundantly, without measure. Do not fall into the trap of thinking your good must come through certain people, certain tickets, certain ways. God's channels are infinite. If you think there is only one way your millions can come, you are limiting the limitless. Release all human reasoning and rest in the knowledge that the way will be revealed, and it will be perfect. Sometimes it is the very ticket you hold, sometimes it is another avenue entirely. But whatever the channel, the source is always the same, the infinite spirit, the substance of all things. When you walk in the knowing that wealth is already yours in the invisible, you stop grasping and start allowing. You stop asking when will it come, and instead declare, "It is here now, unfolding in perfect time." You no longer play the lottery in desperation or fear, but in joyful expectation, as one who is simply watching the invisible take form. This is why I say, never speak lack. Never speak delay. Speak only the truth you desire to see made manifest. If you say, "I don't have enough," you are affirming that lack in the invisible, and it will continue to take shape in the visible. But if you say, "I live in an abundant universe, and my millions are here now," you are imprinting the invisible with the pattern of wealth, and wealth must appear. Remember, beloved, it is not hard for God to give you millions. It is as easy as giving you a breath. The difficulty lies only in your own mind, when you think you must make it happen through struggle. The truth is, your part is simply to believe, to expect, to bless, and to receive. And as you receive this truth, you will see how it naturally leads into the next great key, that your faith, not the paper ticket, not the numbers, is the true winning ticket. For when you stand in unwavering faith, the invisible becomes the visible, and the unseen wealth steps forth into your hands. Faith is the winning ticket. You may hold a lottery slip in your hand, but if your heart holds fear, doubt, or disbelief, the slip is only paper. It has no power in itself. The power is in the unseen, and faith is the bridge between the invisible supply and the visible manifestation. Without faith, even the greatest opportunities pass by unnoticed. With faith, even the smallest seed can become a fortune. Faith is not wishing. Wishing says, I hope this will happen. Faith declares, it is already done. Faith is not trying to convince God to give. It is knowing that God has already given. Faith speaks from the finished state, the end result, the place where the victory is already won. When you operate in that consciousness, the outer must obey, for the outer is but the shadow of the inner. So many people buy a ticket and say, maybe I'll get lucky, but they plant that seed in the soil of uncertainty. The harvest matches the seed. You cannot plant doubt and reap certainty. You cannot plant fear and reap joy. You must plant the seed of faith, water it with praise, and guard it against the weeds of worry. The numbers you choose, the place you buy your ticket, the day you play, all are merely symbols. They are vessels. The true substance of your win is formed in the invisible through the consciousness you hold. This is why two people can take the same action, yet one prospers and the other does not. It is the consciousness behind the action that determines the outcome. Faith is a force. It is magnetic. It draws to you the exact result you expect without hesitation. When you stand in true faith, the channels open effortlessly. Doors swing wide without you forcing them. The prize finds you. Opportunities you never imagined present themselves. You are guided to the right place at the right time, not by frantic planning, but by divine leading. You must remember that fear and faith cannot dwell together. One will drive the other out. Fear says, what if it doesn't happen? Faith says, it has already happened. Fear says, I can't afford to lose. Faith says, I cannot lose what is mine by divine right. The moment you feel fear trying to creep in, replace it immediately with a declaration of truth. I am divinely guided and divinely prospered. The way is made clear. My supply is sure. Faith does not demand signs. It creates them. If you are waiting to see before you believe, you are turning the law upside down. Belief comes first. Seeing comes second. This is why it is written, according to your faith be it unto you. The universe does not give according to your needs, your wishes, or your begging. It gives according to your faith. There are those who say, but I have had faith before and still I did not win. I say you did not have faith. You had hope with a shadow of doubt. True faith is not shaken by appearances. True faith holds fast when nothing seems to be moving, when the outer evidence says no. Faith is knowing that every no in the outer is only a preparation for the perfect yes in the inner, and that the inner must always express itself in the outer when held without wavering. The one who truly walks in faith can buy a ticket in quiet joy, knowing that whether this is the channel or another, the supply is sure. They do not cling to one outcome. They know the source is limitless. They do not become discouraged by appearances. They understand that every step is leading them to the perfect manifestation. Faith is flexible because it trusts the giver more than the gift. And here is the wonder: when you truly operate in faith, you will find yourself guided almost unconsciously to take the perfect actions. You will have a nudge to buy a ticket on a certain day, at a certain place, or with a certain set of numbers. You will meet someone who speaks a word that leads you to your prize. Faith opens the way for divine leading, and divine leading always brings the perfect result. When you hold faith as your winning ticket, you do not depend on luck. You stand on law, divine law. The law is unfailing. The law is no respecter of persons. It works for the one who believes, regardless of their past, regardless of what the outer world says is possible. Your millions are not in the hands of chance. They are in the hands of divine order. And so you see, beloved, once you hold the winning ticket of faith, you naturally find yourself ready for the next great truth, that you must bless sudden wealth rather than fear it. For many shut the door on their own manifestation by holding an unconscious resistance to great and rapid increase. But the one who blesses it, welcomes it and embraces it will find that the floodgates of abundance swing wide and the millions pour in. Many cry out for wealth, yet when the answer begins to appear, they draw back in fear. They imagine that sudden wealth will overwhelm them, corrupt them, or invite danger. And so they unconsciously close the very door they have been knocking upon. Beloved, you must bless sudden wealth. Bless it in thought, in word, and in expectation. For what you bless will increase, and what you fear will flee from you. God is not afraid of abundance. Why should you be? Spirit gives lavishly, generously, without measure. The earth is filled with opulence. The heavens overflow with supply, and yet man in his small thinking believes he must take only a little, lest he have too much. This is not humility. It is ingratitude to the giver. The river of divine supply cannot overflow into a vessel that is capped by fear. Remove the cap. Declare yourself ready. Sudden wealth is simply accelerated supply. It is the harvest ripening quickly. When the farmer plants, he rejoices when the crop comes early and in abundance. He does not fear the overflow. So too must you rejoice when your millions arrive swiftly, without the slow climbing of man's ways. Many play the lottery with hope, but in their hearts they say, "What if I win? What will I do? How will I handle it? Will I lose it all?" These thoughts are seeds of loss, planted before the gain has even come. They cancel the blessing before it manifests. Replace such thoughts with this: I am fully equipped to receive and wisely manage my sudden wealth. I bless it, I welcome it, I use it for good. Sudden wealth does not change who you are. It amplifies who you are. If you are generous, it magnifies your generosity. If you are wise, it expands your wisdom. If you are a blessing to others, your reach becomes greater. Therefore, prepare your consciousness now. Think as the wealthy think. Act as the wealthy act, not in vanity or extravagance, but in calm mastery. When the millions come, you will be simply stepping into the larger version of the life you are already living inwardly. You must also understand that wealth, sudden or gradual, is neutral. It has no will of its own. It takes on the nature of the one who possesses it. This is why you need not fear it. It cannot harm you unless you instruct it to do so through wrong thinking or wrong action. Money is your servant, not your master. When you bless it, it becomes a willing, tireless helper in carrying out your divine purpose. The more you bless wealth in others, the more you open the way for it to come to you. If you hear of someone winning a great prize, rejoice for them as if it were your own. Say, "Wonderful. God's abundance flows freely, and I am in the same stream of supply." Never envy, never resent, for those thoughts dam the river. Your blessing keeps it flowing toward you. If a check for millions were placed in your hand today, what would your first thought be? If it is fear, doubt, or anxiety, then you have found the barrier within yourself. remove it now. Begin to imagine receiving such a check and feeling only joy, gratitude, and readiness. See yourself depositing it with calm assurance, knowing that it has come in divine order and will remain in divine order. Do not tell yourself that too much, too quickly is dangerous. What is too much for God? The one who created galaxies in a moment is not concerned about amounts or speed. The only question is, can you receive without resistance? When your heart is open, when your mind is at peace, sudden wealth is as natural as the rising of the sun. And so speak this daily. I bless the great and sudden increase of my wealth. I am ready for my millions. I welcome them with joy and use them for good. Nothing is too big for God, and nothing is too fast for divine order. These words prepare the soil of your mind, so that when the harvest springs up overnight, you greet it without shock or fear, but with gratitude and calm possession. When you bless sudden wealth, you are in harmony with the law of increase. The law does not trickle, it multiplies. It is the loaves and fishes feeding the multitude. It is the net cast into the sea, breaking with the weight of the catch. The divine plan for you is not small gain, but great overflow. And when you bless that overflow, you find it becomes a river that never runs dry. Now, as you have blessed the sudden coming of your millions, you are ready to step into the next great truth, that you must speak the end from the beginning, declaring your wealth as present now. For in spirit there is no delay and no distance between you and your manifestation. You must speak the end from the beginning. In the language of spirit, there is no one day or in the future. All is now. What you declare in the now becomes the seed of the outer manifestation. The unseen responds instantly to the word spoken in faith, for the word is creative. It is the very mold into which substance flows. When you say, I am a lottery millionaire now, by divine right, in perfect ways, you are not pretending, you are claiming. You are placing your name on what has already been prepared for you in the invisible. You are standing in the consciousness of possession, and that consciousness is the magnet that draws the visible to match it. Many make the mistake of speaking from their current appearance instead of from their desired state. They say, I hope I will win, or one day I will have my millions. And so the millions remain one day away, always in the future, never in the now. Spirit works in the eternal present. You must claim your good as here, as done, as completed. When you speak the end from the beginning, you bypass the doubts of the reasoning mind. You no longer ask how or when. The how belongs to God. The when is always perfect timing. Your part is to state the truth as if it were already visible, to see yourself in the life you desire, to feel the joy of it now, before the numbers are drawn, before the ticket is checked. Do you remember that the world was spoken into existence? Let there be light was not a request, it was a decree, and light was. So it is with your word. When you decree a thing in unwavering faith, it must come to pass. The invisible substance rushes to fill the mold you have spoken. The more vivid and certain your word, the quicker the manifestation. If you continually talk about lack, you are molding lack. If you continually speak of delays, you are molding delays. But if you continually declare wealth, you are molding wealth. Your speech sets the tone of your life. This is why the tongue is called the rudder of the ship. It steers your course. The ship will go where the rudder points, whether toward abundance or toward scarcity. Speaking the end from the beginning requires discipline. The moment you catch yourself speaking contrary to your desire, stop and correct it. If you say, I can't afford this, replace it instantly with, I can afford everything I desire. for my supply is endless. If you say, I'm waiting for my big win, replace it with, I have already won in the invisible, and it now comes to me in perfect ways. Every word is a seed. Choose only those that bear the harvest you want. As you continue in this practice, something marvelous happens. You begin to feel the truth of what you are saying. At first, the mind may argue, this is not so. But as you persist, the argument weakens, the feeling strengthens, and soon you know that what you are declaring is not a hope but a fact. And when you feel it as fact, the outer world will mirror it back to you. Some will say, isn't it foolish to say I am a millionaire before I see the money? And I say, it is foolish to say you are poor when you are heir to the riches of the kingdom. The outer is the shadow, the inner is the reality. Speak from the reality, not the shadow. The shadow must change to match the substance, but the substance will never change to match the shadow unless you allow it. Therefore, declare your millions daily, without strain, without urgency, but with calm certainty. Declare them while you work, while you walk, while you breathe. Let your whole being become the vibration of your declaration. This is not mechanical repetition. It is living in the consciousness of the accomplished fact. When you speak the end from the beginning, you give the law of attraction a clear instruction. You are no longer sending mixed signals, asking for one thing while expecting another. You are sending a pure, unwavering command, and the law must obey. The result will be drawn to you through perfect channels, whether by a lottery win, an unexpected inheritance, a sudden opportunity, or some other path you could not have foreseen. And here is the beauty: the method is not your concern. The moment you decide it must come in a certain way, you may block the way that is truly perfect for you. Keep your declaration focused on the end, not the means. The infinite has ways beyond your imagining. So speak the end from the beginning, until you no longer see yourself as becoming wealthy, but as already wealthy. See yourself already in the home you desire, already blessing others with your giving, already free from every limitation. And as you stand in that consciousness, you will find that you no longer chase your good, it appears before you, drawn by the power of your spoken word. And now, as you live in the finished state of your millions, you are ready to move into the next truth, that wealth does not need to be chased, for it will chase you when you become the open and willing channel for its expression. You do not chase wealth, wealth chases you. When you are in the consciousness of already having, you no longer run after money, as though it were a thing apart from you. You become the magnet, and supply is drawn to you by the law of its nature. The river does not run uphill to find the mountain. It flows naturally to the lowest open channel. When you make yourself that open, willing channel, abundance must flow to you, for that is the nature of divine supply. The one who chases wealth proclaims by their actions, I do not yet have it. The one who is chased by wealth silently declares, it is already mine, and it finds me. There is a great difference between these two states. The first strains and struggles, always reaching, yet never arriving. The second rests in certainty and watches with quiet joy as opportunity comes unbidden. To chase is to doubt. To chase is to believe the supply is separate from you, running ahead, and that you must somehow catch it before it escapes. But wealth is not a fugitive. It is a servant. It is eager to find the one who will use it rightly, the one who will receive it in gratitude and put it to work in harmony with divine law. When you truly know that your wealth is secure in spirit, you stop trying to force it. You stop grasping at every possibility in desperation. Instead, you begin to move from inspiration, from quiet leading. You are guided to the right place at the right time, not through anxious searching, but through calm obedience to the still, small voice within. There is an ease in this way of life. It is not laziness, it is trust. You still act, but your actions are timely, effective, and fruitful. You are no longer scattering your energy in 10 directions, hoping something will work. You are planting your seed in fertile ground, at the appointed season, and reaping an abundant harvest without strain. When wealth chases you, it may come from channels you never expected. The lottery win may be one path, but it is not the only one. Unexpected business opportunities, gifts, inheritances, sudden openings in investments, all these are part of the infinite's treasury. You do not limit the giver by demanding a specific channel. You simply open the door in consciousness, and wealth comes by the path of least resistance. I once knew a woman who longed for a great increase, and she played the lottery often. At first she chased it, watching numbers anxiously, calculating endlessly, fearing missed chances. Then one day, she understood the law. She began to speak from the end, to rest in the knowing that her wealth was certain, and to bless all increase wherever she saw it. Soon she found herself guided to buy a single ticket on a certain day, without fanfare. That ticket brought her the very sum she had declared. She had stopped chasing, and the wind had chased her. When you are in the vibration of already having, wealth will seek you out like water seeking the open cup. It will come in waves, in ripples, in sudden surges, sometimes quietly, sometimes dramatically, but always in perfect ways. Your only work is to keep the cup open, to remain in gratitude, to expect the best, to be willing to receive without guilt or fear. If you say, I am ready for my millions, but then block the flow with thoughts like, it's too much, or what if it changes me, you have closed the channel. You cannot open the door and keep it chained at the same time. Decide once and for all that you are a worthy and capable receiver of great wealth, and the flow will become unstoppable. This is why I say, you must see yourself as the channel, not the source. The channel does not strain to create the water. It simply allows it to pass through without obstruction. You are not making wealth happen. You are letting it happen. You are not dragging it into your life. You are drawing it by the irresistible pull of your consciousness. And so, walk as one who is already supplied. Do not speak as the needy. Speak as the abundant. Do not act from lack. Act from fullness. Be generous now in thought, word, and deed. The one who is chased by wealth is generous without fear, knowing that what flows out will return multiplied. This keeps the river moving toward you, for a channel that clogs becomes dry. When you live in this state, the outer signs will amaze you. You will find that the very things you once chased now appear without effort. The phone call offering opportunity, the letter bearing good news, the meeting that changes everything, all arrive as if summoned. In truth, they were summoned by your vibration, by your spoken word, by your unwavering knowing that wealth is your constant companion. And from this position, beloved, you are ready to understand another great truth, that loss is an illusion. For when wealth flows to you by divine law, it cannot truly leave you, and every seeming loss is but a preparation for greater gain. Loss is an illusion. In divine law, nothing that is truly yours can ever be taken from you, and nothing that is not yours by right can ever be kept. What the world calls loss is only a rearrangement of the outer to make way for something greater. It is the pruning that precedes a richer harvest, the tide that recedes only to return in fuller force. Many grieve over money they think is gone, over opportunities they believe have slipped away. They say, I had wealth once, but I lost it. I say you cannot lose what is yours in spirit. If it seemed to vanish, it was but a shadow of the true supply, and the shadow had to fade so that the substance could appear. The seed must die in the ground before it can bear fruit. The outer form must sometimes dissolve to make room for the perfect form. When you believe in loss, You put yourself in the vibration of lack, and lack attracts more lack. When you see loss as simply a sign of greater gain to come, you remain in the vibration of abundance, and abundance must return to you. This is the meaning of the promise. All things work together for good to them that love God. The loss is never against you. It is always for you, clearing away the lesser so the greater can arrive. If a lottery ticket does not win, bless it and say, something better is on the way. My perfect supply cannot miss me. Do not speak of being unlucky or deprived. Speak only of divine timing and perfect order. Your words will shape the invisible, and the invisible will shape the visible. The outer world is full of appearances, of gain and loss, of ebb and flow. But in spirit there is only fullness. The stream may appear to narrow in one place and widen in another, but the water is the same, continuous, unbroken. So it is with your supply. You may seem to pass through seasons of less, but in truth, the substance of wealth is always flowing toward you, only changing its form until the perfect channel is ready. I have known those who lost great sums and then gained far more because they did not bow to the illusion of loss. They stood in faith, declaring, "This or something better now appears," and the better came, sometimes tenfold, sometimes 100-fold. They refused to cling to the past or to mourn what seemed to be gone, for they understood that mourning holds the door closed, while rejoicing throws it open. Never say, "I can't recover from this." Instead say, "I am divinely restored. Every seeming loss is now returned to me multiplied." Hold this truth, and the law of restoration will work for you. You will be guided to new avenues, new opportunities, and new channels, often better than the ones you thought you had lost. Think of the ocean. When a wave pulls back, it is not stealing the water from the shore. It is gathering power for the next wave. If you stand in fear, you may miss the moment when the great wave returns. But if you stand in faith, you will greet it with joy, ready to receive its abundance. When wealth chases you, as we have spoken, and you live in the knowing that it is always flowing toward you, then the illusion of loss no longer frightens you. A business deal may fall through, a ticket may not win, a sum may be spent, but your heart remains steady, for you know the river of supply is infinite. You have not lost the source, and so you cannot lose the flow. Bless every so-called loss, as you would bless a gain. Say, "Thank you, Spirit, that this is only a sign of my greater good unfolding. I release the old gladly, and I welcome the new in perfect ways." This keeps your channel open and your vibration high, ensuring that the return comes quickly and in abundance. When you live by this law, fear vanishes. You do not hold tightly to what you have, afraid it will slip away. You hold it lightly, knowing that whether it stays, grows, or changes form, your supply is certain. This freedom of mind invites even more wealth, for nothing chases away abundance faster than the grip of fear. And so, beloved, when you see clearly that loss is an illusion, you are ready to embrace the next truth, that God's timing is perfect, and what is yours will arrive in its appointed season, neither delayed nor denied, but always in the precise moment of divine order. The man who understands divine order is never anxious. He knows that what is his will reach him, and nothing can keep it away. You may think you must force the hand of fate, rush the process, or bend the will of others to see your desire fulfilled. But in truth, you need only align with the perfect rhythm of God's timing. The lottery millions you seek are already written into your book of life. They do not need to be hunted down or wrenched from the grasp of another. They are yours, marked with your name in the invisible, and they travel toward you in the unseen as surely as the dawn follows the night. So many block their good by impatience. They cry, "It is taking too long," and in that very cry, they push their good away, for they have spoken delay into existence. Every word is a seed. When you speak of waiting and lack, you plant the weeds of postponement. But when you say, "It comes to me now," swiftly and easily, under grace and in perfect ways, you open the gates for your good to rush in. God's perfect timing is never late, but it is never premature. The harvest comes only when the fruit is ripe. I have known those who purchased a ticket in haste, from fear of missing an opportunity, and yet they found no joy in the process. They believed they must manipulate the outer conditions, forgetting that all outer conditions are but the shadows cast by the inner. They did not yet understand that the divine plan for their millions was already in motion, and that forcing the outer only brings strain, not gain. Your good does not need your struggle, it needs your faith. When you stand in faith, you are like a lighthouse on the shore. Ships see your light and are drawn to your harbor. You do not chase the ships, you simply shine steadily. Your millions are like those ships, already on the waters of the unseen, guided by the beam of your unwavering conviction. God Himself is the captain, and His navigation is perfect. You need not demand arrival before the tide is right, for a premature landing may damage the vessel. You need only keep your lamp of faith burning. There is a law of preparation in manifestation. When the desire is planted in your heart, God begins to arrange every detail, sometimes far beyond your sight. He may be opening channels, aligning people, preparing your mind to receive great sums without fear or misuse. For sudden wealth that meets an unready mind is often squandered, and the blessing becomes a burden. But when wealth meets a prepared heart, it multiplies and blesses many. Thus divine order ensures you are ready in soul, mind, and hand before the millions arrive. If ever you are tempted to cry, "Why has it not come yet?" remember this truth: it is not delay, it is preparation, and in that preparation lies the very safety of your blessing. The pearl forms in the shell over time, the rose blooms in its season, the sunrise does not hasten for any man, yet it is never late. Trust the same eternal order for your manifestation. I say to you, do not watch the calendar or the clock, watch your words, watch your thoughts, for these are the true indicators of whether your good may land upon your shore. Speak only words of arrival, never of waiting. Declare, "My millions come to me now in perfect time, in perfect order, under grace." Release the when, the how, the who, and hold only the knowing that it is done. One may say, "But what if my chance passes me by?" I answer, there is no chance in divine mind. What is yours eternally. No other can take it. Even if it seems to pass, it circles back, greater than before, for nothing is ever lost in spirit. The appearance of loss is but the rearrangement of circumstances toward your greater gain. God's clock does not tick as man's clock. His time is eternity, and within eternity, your win is already accomplished. Your part is to remain in the consciousness of having, so that when the outer form arrives, it meets no resistance. Many sabotage their own manifestation by living in the consciousness of not yet. They pray and then look for signs of delay. But the wise soul prays, and then gives thanks as though the gift were in hand, because in truth it is. Gratitude is the great accelerator of divine timing. When you give thanks before the blessing appears, you signal to the universe that you already possess it in the unseen. This faith pulls the outer manifestation into view, with a swiftness that astonishes the world. The one who knows this truth can rest calmly, even while the storm rages, for they know the perfect tide is bringing their ship to harbor. So I tell you now, release your tight grasp on dates and deadlines. Release your anxious counting of days. Instead, Hold fast to the vision, stand in your declaration, be unmoved by appearances. The divine order is infallible, and your millions are moving toward you at this very moment. What is yours is coming, on the wings of perfect timing, and nothing on earth or in heaven can prevent it. And when it arrives, you will say, "How perfect was the hour, how precise was the moment," for God's plan is never too early, never too late. It is always exactly right. When wealth comes to you, it must not be dammed up by fear or selfishness, for what you hold too tightly will wither in your grasp. Divine supply is like the ocean tide. It comes in and it goes out. If you try to clutch the waves, you will only find yourself with a handful of foam. But if you stand in faith, allowing the waters to flow around you, they will return again and again, higher and fuller each time. Many people, after receiving their great manifestation, be it a sudden windfall, a lottery win, or an unexpected fortune, immediately begin to fear its loss. In that moment, they close the channel through which the blessing came. Fear freezes the flow. Love and generosity keep it moving. You must understand that God's abundance is never ending. If the channel through which it flows is clear, it will continue without ceasing. If you have won your millions, the secret to keeping and multiplying them is not hoarding, but circulation. Giving is the proof that you trust the source, not the form. When you give, you acknowledge that the true supply is God, and that He is infinite. You cannot outgive the infinite. When you withhold, you declare that you believe your good is limited and can run out. But as the Master said, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together, and running over." Many have asked me, "But should I not be careful with my wealth?" And I say, yes, careful to use it under divine direction, careful to invest and spend only as led by the Spirit, careful to keep your consciousness lifted in faith. But you must never be careful in fear. There is a vast difference. Fearful carefulness shuts the door. Faith-filled obedience keeps the windows of heaven open. The law is clear. Whatever you send forth in love returns to you multiplied. When you release money in joy, it comes back in greater joy. When you bless others with the abundance you have received, you make yourself a bigger and better channel for more. A woman once told me she had won a large sum of money, but within a year it was nearly gone. She had clung to it, afraid to share or spend, making decisions in anxiety rather than inspiration. I told her that she had not trusted the source, only the symbol. The moment she shifted her mind, gave freely, and blessed the flow, her fortune began to rebuild itself in ways she could not have planned. She learned that the same God who brought the first supply could bring it again and again without end. When the river of abundance pours into your life, your role is not to dam it up, but to guide it. Give where you are led to give, spend where you are led to spend, invest where you are led to invest. If you are faithful in this, the flow will grow. The lottery win is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the opening of a door that, if kept open, will continue to bring more than you can imagine. But if you close it with fear, doubt, or stinginess, the flow will diminish. Think of it like breathing. You cannot inhale without exhaling. If you try to keep all the air in your lungs, you suffocate. So it is with money and blessings. You receive, and then you release. You release, and then you receive again, only more. The breath of God's abundance is endless, but you must keep in rhythm with it. So I tell you now, bless the millions that have come to you. Bless every dollar. Bless every investment. Bless every opportunity. And bless every gift you send forth. See money as a servant, a messenger of good moving through the world to accomplish God's perfect will. Never make it your master, for your source is higher than any sum. Keep your mind upon the infinite and your hands open to give and to receive. When you do this, your wealth will not only remain, it will grow. It will bring joy to you and to others. It will carry the fragrance of faith and the light of generosity. You will find that instead of fearing loss, you rejoice in the never-ending arrival of more. This is the true circulation of prosperity. It is the final key in the secret manifestation that unlocks not only your lottery millions, but your unbroken supply for all the days of your life. And when you live in this rhythm, you will know there is no end to God's giving. And now, having walked through these keys of truth, you stand at the threshold of your own promised land. You have seen that the millions are not a distant dream, but a present reality in the mind of God. You have learned that faith is your winning ticket, that blessing sudden wealth invites it in, that speaking the end from the beginning seals your victory. You have felt the truth that you are pursued by riches, that loss is but an illusion, that divine timing is flawless, and that circulation is the law that keeps your treasure flowing. Beloved, the secret is no longer hidden from you. It is alive within you. You are no longer a seeker but a possessor. You no longer wait for fortune to knock. You are fortune clothed in human form, walking in perfect alignment with infinite supply. The same spirit that spun the stars into being has spun your winning number into the tapestry of divine order, and nothing can keep it from you. So go forth, not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. Release all fear, all doubt, all how and when, for the Almighty has already prepared the way. Your millions are yours by divine right, and they come in perfect ways, ways so radiant, so effortless, that all who witness will say, "Surely this is the work of the Lord." And when your harvest overflows, when the check is in your hand, when the bells ring and the numbers match, lift your eyes to heaven and say, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. Before I called, thou hadst answered." For this is not mere luck, this is the manifestation of eternal law, and so it is.